All right, you welcome back. As we said earlier, we are talking about something that concerns us as a people.
You know, it was Socrates that asked the question or made a statement, man, know thyself.
Yeah, absolutely. Man, know thyself. That's when he talked about, calling down philosophy from heaven.
From heaven.
Yes, because the pre-Socratic philosophers concerned themselves with things of the universe.
I knew I looked for trouble the moment I mentioned Socrates. All right. Now, a society's cultural heritage is the sum total of its customs, traditional monuments, festivals, ideologies, and philosophies of life.
Well, going by this, it will not be wrong to say that Nigeria is endowed with lots of cultural heritage got from its diverse and multicultural communities. From a large selection of traditional practices and festivals, Nigeria could stand to benefit from its rich heritage.
Yes, indeed, but it is sad that some cultural aspects of Nigeria's heritage, rather than being preserved and passed down from one generation to the other, have been taken for granted and are gradually fading away, if not totally faded away. Now, many Nigerians have said the country's huge deposit of cultural heritage, if harnessed, can turn around the fortunes of the nation. Do you agree with them? Well, we'll be asking that question, of course, to Hakeem Adenekon. He's a brand and culture promoter. Good morning. It's good to see you.
Good morning.
You know, when Lai Mohammed, the information minister, made a statement about a year or so ago about the masquerade and how, some 1,000 people could have jobs just by, kitting and, doing all kinds of things with that masquerade. A lot of Nigerians just laughed at him. But let's come back to what we're really talking about here. Culture. When we talk about culture, exactly what do we mean? Because when the image or imagery that comes to mind immediately is dance, masquerades, and all of that. Is that what culture really is all about?
Well, I won't agree to that. And with that, basically, culture, anywhere in the world of a nation, naturally of a people, it is the foundation. It is the fulcrum on which that society operates. It is the pedestal that they stand and it rotates. And culture is all-encompassing. Dance, art, cuisine, our food, the way we talk, the way we speak, verbally, non-verbally, codifications, language, the way we dress, and the way we carry ourselves. So both verbally and non-verbally is all, is the totality of a people that means what we call culture. And tradition is just a subset of culture.
Well, if you define culture as that, is there a sense in which we can say that the contemporary status of our cultural heritage, be it material, being non-material, is indeed endangered?
Of course it's endangered, and each time we come up every day, everybody criticizes, we come up with, oh, government is not doing this or we are not doing this. But, the main point where we really need to have started from is what we call charity begins at home. In every home. Let me start with language. Most of our languages are endangered. Nigerian languages, I mean.
Yes.
And, an apple can never be an orange. Most of us, we speak foreign languages to our children, even Mandarin, English, French. But can they really speak our local languages? Do we speak our local languages
to our children?
To our children at home? Can they speak it? Do they really understand? And that is the main reason why they exist, because they call it mother tongue. And if you cannot speak your mother tongue, then that means if I come to your home, not even your house, to your home, I'm a Yoruba man, you're an Igbo man, let me use that as an example,
Yes.
And you want to communicate with your child, and you don't want me to understand, but the child does not understand your Igbo language, both verbally and non-verbally. So that means you have to speak English to him or her. So at the end of the day, you are losing some important part of our fabric in terms of cultural values. Look, a nation in my language is called Orile-Ede. What Orile-Ede means is that it is the language that qualifies the nations, the land. So if you take out the Ede from Orile, it becomes only just a land, basically. And I took that from the words of late Professor Akinwumi Ishola, may God bless his soul.
Yeah.
And we are endangered as a people. Like I said, an apple cannot be an orange. Most of the children we are rearing against tomorrow, the future, they cannot speak Queen's English very well. They don't understand our languages. They don't understand who we are as a people. Then where are we going?
So how will they be able to define who they are if they cannot, if they don't have what in language is called intuitive perception?
Yes.
Which is something that comes naturally.
Okay.
From, you speaking your mother tongue.
From home.
What
it starts
kind of-
from home.
From home?
Yes, it starts from home.
Can you really give what you don't have? I mean, most parents today, how many of them really can even speak their own mother tongue?
I'm telling
Come
you,
to think of it.
there are some, centrifugal forces that has really affected us as a people. One, we want to belong. We want to be Britons. We want to be British.
More British than the British.
Than the British. So, as a result, and the influence of the foreign media, the first world, the most important thing they do, and is a direct agreement within them that we must dominate their culture.
And the way to dominate is
using the media. And it comes from all facets. The internet, the radio, the TV, the magazines, the books, and all that. An average Nigerian doesn't even know his history or our history. We don't document.
All right, in your opinion, what have been the greatest challenges, if you like, impediments to the preservation of our cultural heritage?
Number one, government effort. Number two, the people ourselves. I'll break it down. Okay. When I say government effort, communication and development is a deliberate thing. If they are, from the local government level to the state level to the federal level, we have a cultural, policy, and that states that educational-wise, research-wise, and in making sure that we as a people, our cultural heritage are preserved, and it starts from educational curriculum. What are the things that are embedded there? We prefer to have French, Mandarin in our educational curriculum instead of Yoruba, Igbo, or Hausa, or Nukbe, or Kanuri.
And we boldly write on those massive boards, vernacular.
You even see, and what we also project is British curriculum.
Yeah.
If when some of the schools that
Like the Montessori,
yes, and all that.
schools
That is, we are not saying those are bad, but what Awolowo, Azikiwe, and Ahmadu Bello, what they did in their time in the 50s, they saw that the British rhymes were very good. Twinkle, twinkle, little stars. How about that? And all that. Mary and the Lamb. But they brought that, they took it and kept it at the back, and they now came out through research with our own rhymes. That was how we came up with, if you don't plant a tree, there won't be within the communal living. The children won't be able to gather together and have somewhere, to have what we call communal relationship. As a result, that was where over 200 kiddies rhymes came from Nigeria. Nobody has documented, but I've been able to, with some guys. You could say, Labe Igi Orombo, under the orange tree. Lagbe Sherewa, Inu Wadun, Arawaya, Labe Igi
He just lost us there.
Basically, from there, the Igbo will say, Nene, Udumara, Udu, and, the Hausas, they have their own too, but where are they? Where are they? So, we have to look from the perspective of the government, also the perspective of we individuals, because it is the individual that will form the collective society.
Now, Lai Mohammed, the information minister, let me go back to him again. He said not too long ago that the federal government is committed to reviving or even preserving cultural heritage. Do you see that happening at all? How do you even begin? Where do you even start from?
Yeah, it's possible. I'm sure, we're still scratching it. It's a long haul. But
you talked about education earlier,
yes,
which is definitely one of the ways.
Correct.
Thankfully, you're wearing African print.
Yes.
Maybe we should even just say Nigerian, Unfortunately, we cannot say the same of ourselves here.
Of course.
We're turned out in Is it British or American? I don't know, but it's totally foreign. Okay, so where am I going now? An American did a research, some years back, and it spanned 30 years. And he came up with the conclusion that the most backward continent, the most backward race, is the black race, the African continent.
Of course.
And is as a result of the fact that the Africans have left their way of life, their religion, their food, their cuisine, like you mentioned earlier, their fashion, their way of life, everything that defines them, they have left it behind to borrow another man's culture. And that is why our growth seems to be stymied. We're just not going anywhere. And until we go back to who we are, redefine who we are, then maybe progress can, begin.
You said, man, know thyself. Like one of the philosophers said, I think because I exist.
Yeah.
And I exist because I think. For every human being, most of us who are blacks, we are wearing what we call borrowed robes. Borrowed robes. We are not who we are. We are not presenting to the world who we are. Whereas we need to go back. Take, for example, when the missionaries came, they said our African traditional religion, they were fetish, they were this, they were that,
they were
negative,
devilish,
and all that.
Yeah.
What I think we should have done was, even when we have taken the British style in terms of, okay, the religion, we could have used it to modify our own. That's exactly what the Chinese...
Because we do believe in a supreme being, don't we, as
Definitely.
Africans?
God is God, and man is man. And everybody knows that he is the only supreme being. But we call him different names, and we worship him in a different perspective, in terms of our belief system. But, the churches, the mosque, the religious organizations and all that, everybody wants to belong. Me too. I want to belong. Islam is a foreign religion. Christianity is a foreign religion. We are not saying we should not accept that. But should we now destroy what we have? And the cultural values of Nigeria, of black men, basically, it is that is the foundation where every other that's the superstructure, where every other subset will now be built on.
All right. Now, we have, for instance, a Calabar Carnival.
Of course.
The Oshun Festival. These are festivals that have some sort of international appeal.
All right.
Beyond these two prominent ones, cultural activities, there could be more.
We have Lishabi Festival.
Yes. How do we
the Olojo Festival.
How do we put all of this together? How do we harness this potentiality to our economic benefits?
For every of the festival that you see people, that you see in Nigeria, there are so many benefits. Economic benefit, people will go there, they will need to sell souvenirs, they will need to sell food, hotels, transport. It's also, a major tourism development for Nigeria on its own. Even the locality will know, they will feel the inward massive crowd that will come into the area, and it also, a lot of people will have, fringe benefit from the economic perspective, souvenir and all that. But what we don't do properly, let me use that adjective, what we don't do properly is that we're supposed to think global and act local, using technology to make sure that we harness what we have and we package it in a proper way, in such a way that anybody that sees it, it will meet the international standard. Then one thing is for you to package, then you cannot wink in the dark. Like Jesus said, who will put on a lamp and put it under, So you need to, communicate. You need to, for sustainability.
So we're not projecting who we are as a people and what we have
timid.
And what we have to offer. We're not taking our place on the global stage when it comes to...
As a people, culturally, we are still timid. Look, sometimes...
And you talk about technology.
No,
which is very, very important.
That is the only thing you use in driving.
Is it possible to achieve technological breakthrough or innovations without having a good grasp of, your essence?
We need paradigm shift. Who are the people driving the vehicle of our culture? Both at the local at the state and at the national level. You know, without gainsaying, we need a total paradigm shift. You know, you can't go into, except some of the new technology that are coming in terms of health areas now. You can't go into, you can't have a surgical operation without you cutting, you know. Now we have laser, but you can't even, so you need blood to come out, you need water to come out. At the end of the day, you get soon, then you know that, okay, you're relieved out of, you know, the kind of, since you have taken the operation, we need total surgical operation in our cultural developmental growth. All right.
Let me bring to mind or remind you a philosophical concept that was developed by one of the former presidents of Senegal. His name Léopold Senghor. It is a concept called negritude.
Yes.
Which is essentially about rediscovering our African identity.
Of course. Because
just to recapture that from the whimsical manipulation of the Western mind.
Of course.
How can we, because so many foreign cultures have permeated us at the moment as a people, how can we begin to recapture our identity?
Well, I think there are three ways we can put that in perspective. One, if we have, as a nation, serious policy from the federal government, look at what China did. China locked all their doors to the outside world, and they said, no way, we don't want intrusion again. We are people, whatever we want to do as a people, as a nation, for us to progress and to move forward culturally. It is when your culture is successful that every other thing that is the fabric, that is the foundation. We need to have serious government policy from the federal level. From the state level, thank God, some states are really,
like Lagos is
look at what
insisting that Yoruba
Governor Ambode has just done, that Yoruba now is compulsory. You know, is a welcome development. I mean, he has already built on the achievement of Asiwaju, and you know, Lagos is moving. But at the end of the day, the last pedestal is the O. It is the O.
And unfortunately, the family institution is embattled now.
Don't let us go into that. I mean, socio-economic pressure, and you know, the father and the mother, they are outside. They are running after, you know, the rat race. You know, at the same time, the Me Too syndrome. So, and he who doesn't really understand who he is, then how can you now project yourself to the world? Some time ago, I don't pretend I'm a Nigerian. My English is dialectical. I can't speak like Wole Soyinka. Each time I travel abroad, you know.
But even Wole Soyinka speaks his language very well.
If he said it that he used the language and culture to get to the top. Absolutely. You get to America and London and they ask you, could you please speak English? Because, you know, they are trying to strain their heads. Everybody, I mean, you won't be British.
Well, we could spend 2 hours or more talking about this.
We would have talked about Festac 77.
No.
Well, it's been very interesting and really talking about these issues.
Thank you so much, Hakeem Adenekon, brand and culture promoter. You know, the concept of remember whose child you are.
Of course.
Stuff like that. The Omoluabi concept and what have you. So much to talk about, but we'll have to leave it there. Well, we hope you've taken something out of this one. You want to go ensure that you're able to at least greet your child in the morning. Karo, Ndewo, Bolachi, and all of that. Thank you so much for joining us.
And as you so close to say, Mehirowe.
There you go. There you go.
All right. Thank you very much indeed.
Okay, let's quickly look at the headlines again this morning. The Punch, Dapchi residents stone Yobe governor's convoy over missing school girls. 7 vehicles damaged, officials injured. We don't know the number of missing children, says federal government.
Well, I don't know if there's time anymore. Just 3 minutes.
Okay, so I guess we'll have to leave it there.
That's all that we have to take this hour. What do we say? Thank you very much indeed for staying with us all through the program. It's been a wonderful time here. We wish you a very good weekend.
Absolutely.
And thank God it's Friday.
Thank God it's Friday.
I am Ikechukwu Obienu.
And I am Ngozi Alebu. Enjoy the best of the weekend.
Bye-bye now.